Jack is about the kindest person that I've ever known. He's easygoing and okay with almost anything, really.
My name is Jack Epstein. I'm 75 years old, and I work at the San Francisco Chronicle as the Nation World Wire editor. The travel bug that I had in those days when I was a young man was I wanted to see other countries really badly. My passport was so filled with stamps, that was my badge of honor. I had met people on the road in India who lived in Berkeley, and they said to look them up. So I went to live in Berkeley, 11 people and 4 dogs and 2 cats. And we made candles at home and sold them on Telegraph Avenue. And that's how I was able to finance the next trip. I traveled all the Central American states: Medellin, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Brazil, and then up through Brazil, through the Amazon region into Venezuela. Since I love to travel so much, I decided to write a book for folks who travel just like I did. There was no book that was advising them about drugs, having long hair, traveling by hitchhiking, so I wanted to fill that void. And this is the book, Along the Gringo Trail, A Budget Guide to Latin America, by me, Jack Epstein. Now it's 42 years later, 2021.
A few months ago, I noticed that we had about 20 boxes in our attic, and it just seemed like a fire hazard. They were crammed full of newspaper articles that we'd saved from literally more than 30 years in journalism.
She calls me the hoarder.
What doesn't he hoard? He hoards bobbleheads, baseball cards, books, newspapers, pictures, almost anything.
My wife went up into the attic and said, there are like 10 boxes up there and it's all your papers. They gotta go.
Among many other things, one day he just came up to me and said, "Look at this."
And then I found those 2 letters. The man who's seeking refuge in South America with his brother. Everybody who wrote to me received a letter back. And I was never nasty, even to somebody who hated my book. I would say, "I'm sorry you felt that way, but I did the best I could." Nobody really knew that Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber, so that name meant nothing to me. Though at that time, he had already sent 2 bombs. So I was really happy that Ted Kaczynski found me, quote unquote, helpful and courteous, because I do remember one of his victims had my surname. It was a man named Charles Epstein who was maimed by one of his letter bombs. And so I was glad he didn't confuse me with Charles. If there are any lessons to be learned from this, it would be always be nice and always listen to your wife.